Hello and welcome to Stroudsburg High School. Today it is the 14th annual Pocono Run for the Red Marathon, and we've been speculating on who was going to come out on top of this for a long time. And
2 hours through.
happy Game of Thrones Day, Kim. I mean, we'll get to the Iron Throne in a little bit, but we have a race here today, and
That's right, we do.
There's a lot of different things going on this year than there have in the past years this year.
That's right. You know, Brian Morseman, he's still the fan favorite and probably the person who's going to cross the finish line first, and we'll catch up with him. But this is a new course this year, and it's a tough course. A lot of people come to this race every year because it's a pretty good Boston qualifier. The grade is nice, there's not a ton of hills, and people have really great times. This year, because there's a bridge out, the whole course almost had to change. So it'll be interesting to see how everything goes. If you like hills, if you're a hill runner, and there are some people that are, believe it or not, you should have a good run. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, the bridge out on 191 in Henryville, I know a lot of the locals are familiar with that area, really changed things up this year. The much different course than it has been in past years. A lot of hills, as you said, and more challenging, I believe, this year than it's been in the past few years.
Yeah, it'll be a challenge. I think the people who run marathons, though, I mean, that's why they run marathons. They want a challenge. So they're going to get that today. And we were up at the start of the race. The numbers are down, I think, because some people are staying away, maybe because it's warm today.
It is warm.
Temperatures could make running a marathon a little bit challenging. So our numbers are down a little bit today, but there were a lot of people at that start. So let's go check it out.
Thank you, Mark and Kim, with Brian Morseman, the 6-time champion of the Run for the Red Marathon. About an hour before race time, getting ready for your warm-ups. Talk about your feelings coming into another marathon here.
We'll see. This one's a little different since the course has changed, a good 85%. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I say you can throw everything that you know about other years out the window because this is totally different. You did get a chance to run this course to kind of test it out for the race officials. Talk about the differences this year.
Yeah, I did in January, so it wasn't quite the time that I wanted to come and do it in the middle of winter, basically. But unfortunately, I was able to do it. I know the last 8 miles is the same course when they had construction before many years ago that started from the racetrack on down. So I do know the last 8 miles. So that's relatively familiar. But the first 18 miles is totally different. And it's to me, I prefer the course. It's very challenging. You have a lot of ups, but you have a lot of downs. So it's much different than the previous courses that we've had here.
Does it change your approach to how you're going to run this race today?
No, it really doesn't. I actually am more of a hill runner than the flat courses, so I prefer that.
And in past years, I know we've seen you sometimes setting the pace out front. Other times you've let someone else be the rabbit. Do you have a preference on how you attack the course, or does it just all depend on who you're running against?
Yeah, it just depends on who's there, I mean, sometimes you get some really good guys, so, if you get beat by them, you get beat by them. If not, usually I just try to run my own race and, try to give my all.
Finally, talk about the fact that you keep coming back year after year to this race. Why do you like this event so much?
Oh, it's a great organization. The first time I came here, I fell in love with it. And we're under 3 hours from home as well. So this race, it's for a great cause and everything like that. And like I said, it's pretty, local. And they just take really good care of me, and I appreciate everything that they do and the support everyone gives them and stuff like that.
All right, thank you very much, Brian Morseman. Look for him to be one of the front runners come the end of the race. Mark, Kim, back to you.
All right, Brian, you're running the Run for the Red this year to help out the American Red Cross. And I noticed you've got a Red Cross hat on. So you're a big-time American Red Cross volunteer at this point, right?
That's true. I've been a Red Cross volunteer for the past 12 years, 10 years as a volunteer, and 2 years in a professional role with the national headquarters with the marketing team in Washington, D.C.
Most people get involved with the Red Cross because of something that's happened in their life or because they want to give back. Your story's very interesting. Right out of high school, you were involved in a pretty horrific accident. It kind of changed your life.
It did. I spent 2 months in ICU. I had about 14 major operations, 36 blood transfusions, and I spent about 3 years in recovery. And after I was able to get back into life and recover and become independent again, I wanted to be able to say thank you and show that gratitude that I had for the life that I was given. So I became became a Red Cross volunteer from that point on and started doing endurance races, raising awareness on blood donation across the country. I had about 4,000 hours of volunteer service nationwide, and it's been an absolute privilege to represent and be a voice of blood recipients and blood donors.
You had 36 blood transfusions, is that correct?
That's correct. And to be able to wear number 36 today in the marathon, it truly is just a full circle approach for me with my background, my story, and just survival. Just to be able to go out here and represent not just the Red Cross, but to be able to represent my blood donors, it means the world to me. So I'm just so blessed and so thankful.
A lot of people have a story. A lot of people want to help out the Red Cross. Not that many people say, all right, I'm going to take up endurance running and marathoning, because you'd never done that before.
That's true. In high school, I did the swim team. I did track and field, but it was 2 laps on the swim team and about, throwing discus and shot put on the track team. So now, 15 years later, it's about almost 6 dozen endurance events, triathlons, marathons, ultramarathons, Ironman triathlons, and today's number 18 for the marathons for me. So it's going to be a great day.
It is. Well, we wish you the best of luck. Do you have an idea how you're going to finish today? What's your time going to be?
Finishing is always the goal. So for me today, maybe around 3:30, 3:45 would be a hope for today.
That's an extremely respectable time right there.
Thank you. I've been working hard.
All right. Well, have a great time. It's a tough course, and we will see you at the finish line.
Looking forward to it. Thank you again. I really appreciate it.
So here's a look at the start of the race. Kim, you were up there this morning, and what were the weather conditions like there?
You know what? It was beautiful. We started at Northampton Community College today. In the past, we've been out at Pocono Mountain High School. So it was a little lower in elevation. So we didn't have the wind sometimes that you get up at Pocono Mountain High School. But it was beautiful. The start was great. Everybody was enthusiastic, happy to get going.
Yeah, it's a warm day for a marathon. We've had some cool conditions for the most part over the years, and you mentioned Pocono Summit. You always have a little bit of wind up there getting things started, but seems like it was a good, clean start for everyone. And you said the numbers are down, but there's still a lot of guys, still a lot of people out there taking this course today.
There are. The numbers are down probably by half. But, yeah, when you watch the runners, they just keep on going, keep on going. And not only is there a marathon going on, but there is a half marathon going on as well. So everybody starts there. So you'll see some marathon runners. And if you notice, some of the bibs are a little different. It's hard to see it now because they're all coming from, you're seeing them as they leave. But so you've got marathon and half marathon runners all exiting at the same time. And usually the way it works, your more elite runners finish or start at the very front of the pack, and as you go back into the pack, it's the more casual runners. Not that a marathon is ever casual, but it's people who are doing this just for fun.
It'll be interesting, I think, to see today, with the weather being a little bit on the warm side, how that affects the field. I remember back in 2012, it was really warm. Justin Gillette won that race, but he was from the Midwest, and it kind of fell right into his conditions of running in the heat. So it'd be interesting to see today which runners can adapt to a little bit of the warmer weather, although we're having nice little breezes coming through here right now.
Yeah, right now, if that breeze stays with it. One of the things that was cool about this race, and actually was cool, was that there's a lot of canopy. For the first half, I would say, or more, they're running down, some beautiful roads through the Poconos, where not only are you going to see streams and wildlife, but you're covered. There's a lot of shade, and you'll get, some cool air off of the water. It's a beautiful run. It really is.
All right, we'll step away and be back with more from the 14th annual Pocono Run for the Red Marathon. Welcome back to Ross Stalgitis Stadium here at Stroudsburg High School. We talked at the opening, the big difference this year, the different course, Kim.
That's right. It is a much tougher course. I think the course record for the marathon is 2:19. We're not going to see that today.
Safe. It's safe.
It's safe to say we're not going to see that today. But it's going to be a great run. We've got some great runners out there, and they're going to enjoy, hopefully, some new terrain on the course.
Now here is a look at the course for the 14th annual Run for the Red.
2019 Run for the Red Marathon and Half Marathon start at Northampton Community College Monroe campus on the southern slope of Big Pocono in Tannersville. Winding down the hill to Route 715, the course turns west through rugged farmland in northern Reeders. Runners will turn south onto Kays Road and cross 715 and Appenzell onto Neola Road, gently rolling along past mile marker 6 before turning east onto Running Valley Road.
Here, runners face the true test of the course, 6 miles of climbs and descents, uphill through mile 7, downhill through mile 9, a flat reprieve through mile 10, then another climb to mile 12. Turning onto Walters Road, the half marathon runners can see the finish, but before they get to cross the line, they have to run south around the perimeter of Mountain View Vineyard. Full marathon runners continue southwest back to Neola Road.
Now the course flattens out and the terrain gradually rises and falls as the marathoners leave the forest and enter the farmland above Scioto.
Following Strawberry Hill Road, the course parallels 4-lane Route 209 for a short stretch as it enters Scioto. The runners will cross Business Route 209 and turn onto Old Mill Bridge over the McMichael Creek.
From Bossardville Road, the race turns north onto Middle Easton Belmont Pike with a gradual rise before cruising down towards Snydersville. After a scenic detour on Bush Lane and Keller Drive, the runners return to the Pike and cross Route 33 on Manor Drive. Runners will welcome the flat, straight 2-mile stretch through mile 21 before encountering the final climb of the race. Not a welcome sight at this point, but it's the last hill, we promise.
Coming down the backside of that last hill, the course turns east onto Hickory Valley Road. This is a repeat of the route to the finish in 2013, and it's a runner's favorite. The McMichael Creek flows through the forest on the right before the landscape opens up around Glenbrook Golf Club. The final 2 miles bring the race into Stroudsburg for the stadium finish on the track at Stroudsburg High School.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm interested to see who's up front in this race and who's headed to the home stretch. We go to Brian Unax now at halfway. And Brian, what do you have there, and then who's up front?
Thanks, Kim and Mark. We are live here near the halfway point, Mountain View Winery, which is where the half marathoners finished up. Just behind me, you see the course right around mile marker 13. And, you know, they say the more things change, the more they stay the same. New course this year, completely different course. But again, a very familiar face out front. As expected, Brian Morseman, the 6-time champion of the Run for the Red, comfortably out in front of the field. He came through earlier, the halfway mark, in about 1 hour, 13 minutes, 46 seconds. And when I say comfortably out front, he had a 2-minute, 14-second lead on the second-place guy coming through at the halfway mark, and that was Jason Iyer of Westfield, Massachusetts. His time at the halfway mark, 1 hour, 16 minutes. So it was Morseman out front in 1:13.46. Jason Iyer of Westfield, Massachusetts, a 1:16. And then in third place at the halfway mark was Ryan Harrigan of Mickletown, New Jersey, in 1 hour, 17 minutes, 7 seconds, 3 minutes, 21 seconds behind your leader, Brian Morseman. So Morseman out in front comfortably here at the halfway mark. As far as the women's race, again, the more things change, the more they stay the same. 2-time defending race winner in the Run for the Red Marathon, the female winner, Heidi Peoples, out front at the halfway mark. Her time as she came through mile marker 13.1, 1 hour, 26 minutes, 41 seconds for Heidi Peoples, who's won the last 2 Run for the Red Marathon women's division races. So, again, familiar faces up front. They should be the ones to look for as they start heading your way in just a few more minutes. Kim and Mark, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Brian. And Brian Morseman, 2 minutes two minutes plus ahead. A lot of times we see it halfway, it's been really close, but then at the finish, not so close. But right now it seems like Morseman's in cruise control.
And maybe that's how this race will go for him today. We'll have to see how it goes. And Heidi Peoples, she won for the past 2 years in a row. So last year she had a 2:43. We'll see what she can do. I'm not sure she'll make that. If she stays on the pace she's doing, she'll be right around 3 hours. But we'll see how that goes. She could do sub 3, but all of those are going to be great times. However it finishes up. How about we take a break and we'll come back, and maybe by then we'll start to think those runners are going to make it into this stadium. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We're at Ross Stilgaitis Stadium for the 14th annual Run for the Red Marathon. You know, it's hard to imagine. When this race first got started, I thought, it would be good to run a marathon. Maybe I'll do that. Now we're 14 years later, and I'm thinking, it didn't happen. Might not.
Yeah.
Ever.
You know what's amazed me covering the first couple races here, and it's still through it, watching these runners. I mean, they are not trotting. They are not jogging. They are running. The elite runners are running this marathon, and to go 26 miles at that pace is just unfathomable. But what great athletes and what great conditions they're in to do that.
That's right. And we talk about the people who run it, and there's people who run this every year. So it started out when we hit the 10th annual. I think we had 11 runners who had run all 10 years. Now we're at 14, and I think just the law of averages, your numbers go down every year. So we've maybe got 3 or 4 runners that will finish today. None of them are elite runners. They're just people who are very involved in the community and who love running, so they're going to be out here today. So it's Darlene, Juliet, Rob, and Rod. Those are the 4 names that I know that are definitely here and running today, and I wish them all the best of luck. They won't finish during our broadcast, but they will all finish.
Hey, hats off to everybody who's involved and who's running this. I mean, you know, obviously the elite runners get the headlines, and deservedly so, but just to come out and be a part of it and to put yourself through that and to finish it, I mean, that's really a feather in anybody's cap.
Yes, it really is. And, you know, this race, I just want to send some props out to Zach Booth. We work with Zach. He's a member of the BRC TV 13 staff, and he took over the reins as race director this year. I don't know what was possessing him to do it, but he's been doing a fabulous job, and everything has been going great. So it's nice to see, you know, people staying involved and helping out the Red Cross, because it really is a worthwhile organization. And it's important because when disaster strikes, you need an organization like the Red Cross to help.
Yeah, Bob Wirtz ran it for the first 13 years, and a great job by him getting this together and putting this event together. And now, as you mentioned, Zach taking it over. Not an easy undertaking with a lot of moving parts and a lot of volunteers, obviously. I think really what makes this event such a special thing.
And you don't necessarily see it, but when we drove the course this morning, there's people at every major intersection, because everywhere 2 roads come together, there's a chance, you know, for a car to be pulling out in front of a runner. So we've got volunteers all over, and we've got some flagger representatives that are there too. And local fire and police and emergency responders. A lot of different organizations have come in to step in and help out with the Red Cross and make sure this race is a success.
Yeah, it's a lot of community involvement. And we have some runners coming into view right now, and I can actually see them here on the back side here of the stadium at Stroudsburg High School. And, you know, see a police escort bringing a runner in, and
it's a little hard for me to tell, but that looks kind of like the pace that Brian Morseman would be coming with.
It's a pretty good educated guess there, Kim.
It's a pretty good stride.
If you see the lead runner coming in, and that is going to be Brian Morseman, looking for number 7 here at the Pocono Run for the Red Marathon. And Brian won the race in 2009, 2010, 2011, so he three-peated there. A couple years didn't win, then he won 2014 and 2015, and then again last year for his 6th Run for the Red win. And I believe there's another runner coming in not too far behind Brian.
So maybe he's
there on the
had some
course.
challenges on the course. So that's a wonderful thing to know. And he's going to be entering this stadium in just less than a minute. So Brian Morseman looking to make his repeat, looking like a very strong.
Yeah, and he ran this course a few months ago when they redesigned it, kind of to give everybody a gauge on what it was going to be like. So he obviously is familiar with getting around the Pocono area, and here he comes down the backstretch, cruising in.
And I'm sure he's on cruise control. And I don't know if people at home can tell how fast he's running, but most of us can't run that fast normally.
No.
So his cruise control is quite a hike.
And we have number 2 here on the track within shouting distance of Morseman, which is another great run coming here to the Pocono Run for the Red Marathon. Brian Morseman around turn 4 down the home stretch is Brian Morseman, and it will be lucky number 7, Brian Morseman, the master of the Pocono Marathon, does it again. 2 hours, 28 minutes, and 36 seconds for Brian Morseman on the new tough course. Different course, same winner. Brian Morseman getting a splash of water there from Kate Booth, and he's going to...
And now we're looking at our number 2 runner that's coming in.
Jason Ayre.
And he's from Westfield, Massachusetts.
Is our second finisher this morning.
So Jason Ayre from Massachusetts, really a good run for him, just a little over 2:29, less than a minute behind the winner, Brian Morseman. As you see the two guys congratulate each other on a great run here today at the Run for the Red Pocono Marathon.
Awesome run. And now they can get some much-needed water, although both of them, they look like they could run a few more miles,
yeah,
maybe.
Jason was over 2 minutes behind Brian and then cut it down to less than a minute there at the end. So a good kick for him there in the second leg of the marathon here today.
Yep.
Yeah, he looks good for running 26 miles.
Well, a lot of these elite runners, they spend a good portion of their life running, so they know what it's like to run in the heat. They know what it's like to run hills, and they're out to do it. And they're both finishing in the money, so good for them.
Yeah, Brian Morseman, he looks spent and well-deserved, though. What another great run for him, winning his 7th Pocono Marathon here today. And I tell you what, we talked about how tough that course was. I haven't seen Brian look this tired at any of the races he's been in here.
No, you know what? He does. He's holding on to that fence. And his kids are down there, too, so he might just be trying to take a breather.
It's always a family affair for the Morsemans here at the Stroudsburg High School coming to the finish. There's a smile. Get a little picture there after winning the race for the 7th time. He's batting 500 here at the Pocono Marathon. 7 out of 14 for him in this race.
Well, you know what? And the Poconos have kind of adopted Brian, too, because he's such a terrific guy. And he's personable. He's just an all-around nice guy, a great runner. And when the Red Cross needed someone to come out and run the race and give an honest opinion of what the course was going to be like, he's like, yeah, I'll do it. Tell me when you want to come.
I'll tell you what, these two guys really ran away and hid from the rest of the field, because right now there's no one else in sight as Morseman and Ayre come in first and second. And while Brian's catching a breath here and waiting for some runners, let's take a quick break and we'll be back. We'll hear from Brian and hopefully Jason, and we'll get more of the finishers here from the Run for the Red Marathon. Back here at Stroudsburg High School, Mark McKee and Kim Bell. Let's go to Ben Stemrick with old 7-time Brian Morseman.
With Brian Morseman, finished first place today. It is the 7th time he's finished first in the Run for the Red Marathon, 2 years in a row. Brian, we had a new course this year. How was it different?
A lot more hills. Very challenging. There's no doubt about that. Much different than what you expect for the, Run for the Red Marathon, being, famed as a Boston qualifier and a fast course. This year's course is definitely a lot different.
Are you happy with your time?
It is what it is. I went out there and just basically pushed the pace the whole way. Wasn't really worried about the pace. I just wanted to win again. That's the main goal. I don't so much worry about the time. I was pretty pleased with it.
You've won this 7 times. How is it coming back to this every year? And what's it like?
It's like a family affair kind of thing. The Run for the Red Marathon is, a race I've came to, I think 11 times now, something like that. And it's just, I fell in love with it the first time I came here. The race organization is phenomenal. It's for a great cause, and it's like just under 3 hours to home. So it's a real local kind of marathon. I don't get to do too many of those. And then winning it as many times as I have, it feels like no matter who's in the race or how I feel, I always give it 110% here for some reason. So even if I don't feel like training's gone well up to it, I know come race day, I'm gonna give it 110% and I'll succeed.
Beautiful day, kind of humid. How did it affect you?
Yeah, it's a gorgeous day to run. Don't get me wrong. We've had some years here where it was rainy and cold and stuff like that, but in some years it's been really hot. The hills on this course were definitely a lot more challenging in this heat versus the old course, so it made it tough out there.
Congratulations, Brian. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Back to you guys.
Running in the 5K earlier today.
Yeah, he looked pretty good coming through the finish there, too. Good job by Ben.
I think he wanted us to, he wanted to pay us to tell everyone that he won the 5K. He didn't, but he definitely had a respectable time, and he came in strong. So another person out, helping out the Red Cross. So we like Ben. You see more runners coming into the stadium, and, there's Ben. I'm sorry, that was the 5K. That's Ben finishing. Yeah, look, go Ben. All right. Justin Dorsey is out just after halfway at a water stop. He's been helping out at a water stop all day, and we want to send it out to him and see what's going on.
All right, we are out here at mile marker 14. Take a look right here below us. Look at all these cups from all the runners running so hard all the way up until this point, throwing down the water and the Gatorade. We actually have a couple of people coming down. You're doing great. You're doing great.
Thank you.
We actually also named this mile the Music Mile because we have the music here. So look, I'm stepping on cups. Everybody, we got Emily out here helping. It's just a great time. How are you doing? Everyone running so hard up until this point. Take another look down here. Look at the massive amounts of cups here at mile marker 14. Oh man, Run for the Red. They're doing a great job right here. Well, that's about all we've got for here. For now, that's the story from here in Hamilton Township at mile marker 14. I'm Justin Dorsey. I'll send it back to you.
You don't think about all those cups that the runners just drink, toss.
I think the key there is stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
During a marathon. I believe we still waiting for more runners to come in. We mentioned that Brian Morseman won the race 2 hours, 28 minutes, 36 seconds. Jason Ayer not far behind at all, 2 hours, 29 minutes and 11 seconds, coming in within a minute of Morseman there at the start. And the course is tough, and he seems like it's really spread out right now with everybody else.
It is, and we'll be looking for our first female runner to come in. Maybe that'll happen before we leave on our hour time slot here. Maybe it won't, but there's a lot of people who are going to be pushing themselves hard because the course is tough and because we've got somebody else coming in.
It's a local guy, too, 22-year-old Shane Ramdeo of Stroudsburg.
Oh, good for him.
Coming through here as number 3 here at the 14th annual Pocono Marathon. So Shane, he's looking good, coming a couple hundred yards from the stadium right now as he makes his way towards the finish line.
That's right, and when you come in and you see the stadium, you have to be happy because it's all paying off. There's all kinds of signs and sayings and people rooting for you along the race course. But when you finally get to the end, that's got to be the best feeling. Finally to be done. And he's finishing in the money too, so congratulations to him for being third.
And here is Shane Randeo, Stroudsburg guy at Stroudsburg High School, coming around here, heading towards turn 2. You mentioned there's a lot of people cheering people on, and it's funny that I talked to Ben after his race, and he said his headphones died about a quarter of the way in. I said, so what did you have, just dumb thoughts the rest of the way? He said, yeah, pretty much. So, but it's nice. You have a lot of people here supporting and cheering you on, and that's got to help keep you going, especially, 26 miles running through the country, a lot of nice sights and everything, but a lot of people, and you saw Justin at the water stop there, a lot of people coming through, a lot of people cheering him on and giving support as Ramdeo here comes around. The final turns will be the third finisher here at the Run for the Red Marathon. He's going to finish in just over 2 hours and 40 minutes. So we predicted, Ken, you had said earlier, course record was going to be saved today, and that held to be true. Shane, he's looking strong here coming across the finish line. 2 hours, 40 minutes, and 20 seconds his finishing time as he comes in third place. And you see Zach there putting the medal around him.
You know what? And Shane is not a name that I remember seeing in the past, because with a time like that, we might have remembered him running this course. So a local guy from Stroudsburg. He's only 22 years old. Maybe his running career is just getting rolling, and we'll see him again year in year out, because he could challenge Brian Morseman if he keeps running.
You can check out all the results at
Yeah, we have a half marathon today as well, and Brian Eunank's caught up with the winner of that race. Let's go to that.
Thanks, Mark and Kim. We're with the half marathon winner, Nate Yonkers of right here in Stroudsburg. Third time's a charm. You ran this twice before. Yes. Third time you come in first. Talk about it.
Well, I came into the course thinking it was a little bit, little hilly. I started out a little slow, came in behind the leaders about 3 minutes through the 5 mile mark. Thought I was leading, and then I saw there was another guy who was pacing off of till about mile 10, and we got the downhills, and I was just able to be lucky enough to pass him.
You mentioned about it being such a hilly course. Did you like the hills on this new layout?
I wouldn't be opposed to them not being there, but they were definitely, they helped me a little bit. I was able to work with them because I'm a local and able to just use them to my advantage.
And I'm right, this is only your fourth time you've run a half marathon. Are you happy with your time? 1:23:30, I believe is what it was.
Yeah, very happy for the way the course went. Definitely was hoping for anything under 125, but came in and saw the time, was surprised, didn't pace it at all, and just went off of how I felt.
All right, congratulations, Nate Yonkers. He's our half marathon winner. Mark, Kim, back to you.
And congratulations to him. And a race within a race, but still a quality run there for him.
That's right. And if you were to put his pace and map that out, if he could do 26 miles, I mean, he would be up there too, because that was
13 more miles.
It's just 13 more miles. But if you're doing 13, you might as well train for 26. I know you say that all the time, right?
That is true, yeah.
I'm just not sure what the 26 you're training for is. But anyway, all right, our own Ben Stemrick is standing by with the executive director of the American Red Cross of the Poconos, Michelle Bear, and she's been instrumental in making this happen for years now. So, Ben, take it away.
Guys, we're here with Michelle Bear, Executive Director of the Red Cross. Michelle, how did we do today so far?
Well, we had 2 runners come across the finish line so far. It was a super exciting start this morning. We were incredibly happy to be up at Northampton Community College, our halfway point being Mountain View Vineyard. We have so many sponsors that are getting involved in this race, and amazing amount of volunteers. Over 300 volunteers are out on the course, manning the water stops, making sure, you can see it's a sunny, hot day, making sure that the runners are hydrated, cheering them on to keep them coming down to the finish line here at the Stroudsburg High School.
Now, we had a new course this year. What are you hearing from runners so far?
Well, it's a little bit hilly, much more hilly than than in the past. They like our other course because it's a downhill and it's a very fast course, which allows them to qualify for Boston. But hey, it's a marathon. It's supposed to be a challenge, and there's only a little area where there's a big hill, and the rest of the course is very rolling, very beautiful, very agricultural. Obviously, we could use a little less heat today, but it's a nice shady course, so hopefully that'll help the runners out today.
It is a beautiful course. It's also a beautiful day, a little bit humid, but that's okay. You know, we've all been touched by cancer in some way in our life, whether it's us or a loved one. Maybe somebody couldn't make it out today, but if they want to help, what can they do?
Yes, so amazing that you brought that up, because our blood donations specifically help those cancer patients. And so you can always go out and donate blood anywhere for the American Red Cross. We supply 40% of the nation's blood supply, and that does help cancer patients. They can volunteer. They can get involved in our run. They can run a water stop for us. They can come and volunteer at the office. And of course, this is the biggest fundraiser that we do in the year. So they can always donate. These runners all paid to run this course. All that money goes to support disaster relief right here in our local area.
Okay, thank you so much,
You're
Michelle.
welcome. Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, back here with Zach Booth. We've worked with you for years at Blue Ridge, and now you put a different hat on here today.
This is an unfamiliar side of the camera for me.
Yeah. First year as the race director. How has today gone so far for you, Zach?
So far today has gone pretty well. We had nice cool temperatures in the morning. It's getting hot now, though. We had Brian and our first three finishers, Jason and Shane, all finish. And so now we're trying to provide the best experience for the other runners we can out on the course on a hot, humid day like this.
And that means water stops, and you've got water stops every 2 miles, correct?
We do. We have water stops every 2 miles. Water, sports drink, mile 18. There are gels that were provided by Ready, Set, Run, and orange slices. A lot of shade on this course, so a lot of shelter from the sun. This last stretch here, though, I'm going to bake a little bit, but hey, a marathon's not supposed to be easy.
That's right. If it was easy, we wouldn't be here televising it.
That's right. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm the race director. I shouldn't be running, but I had to run up here to get on with you guys.
So when you guys were putting together this course, you knew that we'd have to have a different course this year because of the PennDOT bridge issue.
That's right.
How hard was it to try and find 26 miles through the Poconos?
You know, with today's modern technology, Google Maps, I said, we need a spot where we can support a bunch of cars at the start. We need a spot where we can support a half finish, and we want to finish here. We love the stadium finish here. That's not going to change. And then I just, dragged stuff around until we had 26.2.
And so you're to blame for the hills that people are complaining about.
Sorry.
What's been? I mean, Bob Wirtz ran this for 13 years.
Yeah.
Handed it over to you. What's been the biggest challenge for you? I mean, obviously you had to find the new course, but what have been some of the challenges for you in your first year doing this, Zach?
Being on this side of TV interviews, definitely.
Come on, you can handle it.
It's kind of funny that getting interviewed by our guys, I can tell that they're more nervous than I am, because a lot of the people interviewing me, I hired or
or you know them.
Yeah. So I can tell they were more nervous interviewing me than I was getting interviewed. But getting the community behind this race is always a big part of it. Getting help from law enforcement and emergency services and everything is a big step that Bob always handled in the past. So getting into that has been a big step for me. But Bob's still around and has been a great mentor and has a lot of faith in me. So that gives me faith in me to hopefully live up to, step into his shoes.
Yeah, you've been killing it. I've been involved in some of the meetings, and Zach's extremely organized, and he's been doing a great job.
Blue Ridge, I don't want to toot our own horn here, but we're well represented here today. We had Ben in the 5K.
Yeah.
We had George and Connie. I saw them running in the 5K today. So it's been a great. Don't think I'm ever going to run the 5K, by the way, but it's been pretty cool to see, our guys, but really everybody. I mean, everyone really seems like they have a great time at this event every year.
Yeah, everybody has fun, and that's what we're about. We want everybody to enjoy the run. We want the marathoners to qualify for Boston, and we want everybody to have a good day. And we want to raise money for the American Red Cross here in the Poconos.
Great stuff.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about too. Because when it's all finished, the thousands of dollars that's raised really helps with the disaster relief efforts of the local Red Cross. And it's important. Every time someone's house burns down or there's flooding or, we have a terrible power outage, the Red Cross is there offering shelter or supplies, whatever is needed. So that's a big deal. All right, our first female has apparently entered in view. So, hey, no surprise, it's Heidi Peoples from Abington Township, Pennsylvania. She's won this race for 2017 and 2018, so it looks like it's a three-peat for her coming into view.
Yeah, nice job by Heidi Peoples. She's the 4th overall runner to finish this marathon. So 3 men, and now Heidi Peoples going for a three-peat here at the Pocono Marathon. Zach, we'll let you get back to your race director.
I'm going to go run down there. I think I have a medal to
I'm
award.
sure you have something going on, but thanks for your time. Thanks for everything you've done for
Mark.
this race.
Thank you, Kim.
And thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We have another finisher coming onto the track.
So Heidi Peoples, as she approaches Stroudsburg High School, she won in 2017. Her time was 2:52:55. Last year, she shaved over 12 minutes off of that, finishing 2 hours, 43 minutes, and 24 seconds. She's going to be right in between those times this year as she now hits the track heading into turn 1. She's going to be just over 250, it looks like, whenever she finishes this race. And wow, Heidi Peoples, very impressive. Coming back this year on a new course, and she's going to beat the time she had a couple of years ago when she won on the old course, which is proving to be much easier, if you can say that about a marathon. But good for her. She is looking good.
And look at that stride, too. I was hoping she would make it in under 3 hours, and she's significantly in under 3 hours. That's fabulous. She looks strong. And, sometimes I think marathon runners, they just want to run fast so they can finish.
Get it over with, right?
Get it over with as quickly as possible. But no, they set a plan. So, and they're sticking with it. When you talk to a runner ahead of time, they'll tell you, I'm expecting to finish in about, they'll give you a 10 to 15 or 20 minute time frame. And because of the training that's gone into the race, they probably have a pretty good idea of where they're going to be.
And here comes Heidi Peoples. She was 6th overall last year. She tops that this year, 4th overall, and the first female to win it. 2 hours, 51 minutes, and 2 seconds as she stops dead at her tracks as soon as she hits that line. And you see Zach there awarding her with the first place medal in the women's division, and a great run here today for Heidi Peoples. And I'll tell you what, it's gotten a little warm out here in the morning here at Stroudsburg High School. Like Zach said, a lot of cover in this marathon, but once you come into town here, not so much. So it's a little bit of a tough finish to stretch this thing out. But this has been a tough course this year. We're at the 2 hour and 51 minute mark, over almost 2:52. We've only had 4 runners come through here today. So congratulations to those 4 as you see Heidi getting walked towards the tent after coming in. And this is a grueling course. And elite runners here showing up today.
That's right, and they're doing a great job. And earlier today, Brian Unix caught up with Heidi Peoples and asked her about her race day. So check it out.
Well, I try not to put pressure on myself because I can't take anything for granted. There's always a good field here, and you have to I can't say that I'm going to be the winner again.
And everything is different this year, a brand new course. Talk about what you know about it and how you're going to approach it.
Pretty much the same as I did the other one. There's still a lot of downhill in it, and that's that we have to be concerned about. The downhill takes a lot out of you. It beats up your legs that you don't realize, so you have to be cautious with that.
Talk about why you keep coming back to this race and why you like it so much.
Well, I don't feel any pressure when I come in here. I know there's other races that I'm the target. My bib number's number 1, and I don't like that. So here, it's I just feel like I'm going out on a long run, but with competition, and that's what makes it so nice. And it's the organization, it's really a nice race.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
She's just out on a long run with a little competition. That's how she viewed it.
And finished 4th overall. It's an incredible run by Heidi Peoples.
Yeah.
Ryan Harrigan from Mickleton, New Jersey, is about to enter the stadium here as the number 5 finisher, and I see another runner coming in the distance too. So actually 2 more coming in the distance. So not a lot of runners have been able to make it here in under 3 hours, but we got some trickling in right now here at Stroudsburg High School.
That's right. They're coming in, and we're going to start to see more and more of them come in because you have a separation between the elite runners and the really, really good runners. And the elite runners probably do, I don't know, 25 or plus marathons every year. Really good runners, maybe they do 10 every year. But, you know, they train all year long for this. They say you shouldn't even try a marathon if you can't devote 4 months to doing what's necessary to build up to that 26 miles.
So Ryan Harrigan is on the track. We have Mark Burton from Scranton behind him coming into the track as well.
It's nice to see some Pennsylvania runners.
Yeah, some local guys coming here. We had Ramdeo Stroudsburg coming in 3rd. Now we have Mark Burton of Scranton.
Yep, and Heidi from Abington Township. So Pennsylvania runners are well represented.
Here comes Ryan Harrington off of turn 4. Burton on the backstretch. Harrington just cruising along there down to the finish line. As we have Heidi Peoples, I see her. She is out of the tent looking good after winning in the women's division.
Sometimes in the heat, you just need a little bit of cold water or an ice pack or 2, and you're good to go.
And a couple more runners now on the track. Peter Smithson and number 2, second woman to come in as well. Peter Smithson from Sewell, New Jersey.
Excellent, 2:55.50 coming in.
And
he was right up at the start with Brian Morseman at the beginning of the race, and he's run a strong race getting in under the 3-hour timeline, 2:55, real respectable.
And there is the second woman coming in.
Once again, Peter Smithson and Samantha Recker.
Samantha Recker coming in.
So Samantha Recker is number 2 in the women's race here today. We'll try to get a word from Heidi Peoples, who is the 3-time in a row winner here in the women's race at the Pocono Run for the Red Marathon. Impressive run for her here today.
And Samantha Recker is from Philadelphia, our second female finishing the race today. One of
Let's go down to Ben.
Like this, using on your right.
Good to go?
Right.
We're here with Heidi Peoples, 3-time winner of the Run for the Red. Heidi, congratulations.
Thank you.
We had a new course this year.
Right.
How'd it work out for you?
It was a little tougher, I thought, than previous years. The early hills were kind of deceiving, but you know, with the weather, also that sun beating down on you was a little deceiving as well. So it was a tough day.
Any way you could actually prepare for weather like this?
No, you know what? It's just springtime and the weather's up and down. You really know not sure what you're going to get. The wet temperatures have been cooler, and I've been going out early, so I'm not really used to the humidity yet. So overall, I'm just happy that I could hang on for the wind, even though it wasn't that enjoyable the last few miles.
A lot of people watching may have never even thought of running a marathon. What would you say to them maybe to get ready, or why should they do it?
Well, I don't think you should jump into a marathon right away. You should wait. There's so many other races that you can do, shorter races. But the training, the long runs are key for the marathon training.
Are you happy with your time?
I don't know. I guess with the conditions today I am. I would have liked to go closer to 2:45 like last year, but I'll take it.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, back to you guys.
All right, well, Kim, new course, same names, Morseman, Peoples. Congratulations to those two.
That's right. Heidi running a 2:51.02. Brian Morseman a 2:28.36. Excellent times. Maybe it's not their best, but on a tough course and hot conditions, I think a win is a great win.
Yeah, well, that'll do it from the 14th annual Pocono Run for the Red Marathon. We'd like to thank Zach Booth, the race director, Tony Zayak, Ron Bullock in the truck as well, Paul Valchukas helping us out here with some stats and everything, and the entire Blue Ridge crew. For Kim Bell, I'm Mark McKeon. Enjoy Game of Thrones tonight, everyone. That's it from here at Stroudsburg High School from the Pocono Run for the Red Marathon.